Hi everyone, it's Bobbie. I have a new project I just finished today, and this is another one of Tammy's exclusive designs. This one is called Bountiful Blessings, and it is just gorgeous. I know I always say that, but I've got dust or something. I need to get a new cover for my table. This is just a beautiful paper, but then I'm always partial to reds and blues, and this is kind of a wine shade of red, burgundy, whatever you might want to call it. And then this print is a turkey platter. This is one of the cut-aparts in the collection, and I just backed it with some navy blue Artisan, and this actually came from the cover sheet, Bountiful Blessings. And then I just added a little flag. This is one of the tiny cut-aparts from the cover sheet, and this little stitch trim is also from the cover sheet. And then I just used an old Martha Stewart punch I had for this rickrack looking thing here, and this doily is something from my stash. On the side I just put one of the cut-aparts, and I double matted the entire cover, and this is the back side of the one with the turkey platter on it, and I just put a little tag down here so that you could put who it's to and the date, and then I had added "Have an Open Heart." Just thought it was so pretty. And the little verses, the smaller ones that are white, they come from a Tim Holtz book that I've had in my stash forever, and there's just tons and tons of little quotes in there. And every now and then something strikes me as appropriate for a particular album. So this gauze trim also comes from Country Craft Creations, and it was in another design package that she sent me, and I hadn't used all of it, so I thought it worked perfectly with this. So I used that for my closure, and on the inside I have 4 pages, and you can see that it lays fairly flat. And on the inside cover, let me see, oops, hold on a minute here, let me fix that. It's about to knock over my cutting board. Let me make sure. No, this is too long. Let me move it over a little bit. On the inside cover, I have a waterfall, and I don't have any photos in it yet, of course. And it is magnetized, and the magnet is right here. And then you've got 2, 4, 6, 8 photos. And then you've got room for more paper embellishments or not embellishments, journaling, or another photo. And then this little piece here is actually a tuck spot where you could add more things under here if you want to. I just put it there mostly as decorative, but it does have a purpose if you want to put something there. And then on page 1, and all these 4 pages are the same basic layout. This is a page design that Tammy did several years ago. I think it was on her Children's Hour album, and I really liked it because instead of having a front piece and a back piece that you have to glue together to make a pocket, this was just one piece with 2 scores, and it makes your pocket. So I thought that was really neat, and she said it was okay if I used it in this album. So each page has a flap that lifts up so that you have more places to insert photos or journaling. And this is one of her cut-aparts I thought was so pretty. And then I put a photo mat on the back. And my idea with this, because it came with recipe cards, I thought it would be neat on Thanksgiving Day to have gratitude cards that people that come to have dinner with you can fill out what they're grateful for. And then there's also recipe cards with this collection. Oops. And I put them on the back of each page. I made a pocket that flaps up, and there's a tuck spot here for a photo mat. And here's one of her cut-aparts. And then I have 3 recipe cards in each one of the folders. And I thought they're so pretty. And then on the back you have room for your directions. So there's 4 pockets, and each one has 3 cards in it. Well, let me get them started here. Here we go. And then when you lift it up, there's a photo spot on the back, And then I just made a small collage on each page to hold some more cut-aparts, another grateful tag, and a photo mat. And this collage is just made out of some of the scraps and one of her cut-aparts. And these little things I printed on Word, and I'll try to see if I can make a PDF and share that with you if you want to have that. So Pocket 2 is using the cornucopia with all the vegetables in it. And this yellow is something I had in my stash. It did not come with a collection. There's only a few things through here that came out of my collection, not a lot. This yellow and green, and I think I used a blue one somewhere that I had in my stash. I just needed more plain paper than for my photo mats. And this kind of rust color, that is an old, I think it's an authentique that I've had for a long time that came with a collection probably a year or two ago. Then here's the back side of that page, and I went with the blues and burgundies this time. Have another doily here, and I just scored those and tucked them under to make a pocket. 3 more recipe cards. And then we have another photo on the back, and another grateful card, and a photo mat. These papers are pretty, they're just gorgeous. And this little collage is made with some scraps in one of her cut-aparts and a little piece of a doily. And I didn't need any magnets in this at all. Everything stays closed really well without it. So page 3, 2 more grateful cards. And you can also put photo mats on the back of these if you want. There's tons of room in here. This thing would probably hold 60 to 70 photos because of all the pockets and the tuck spaces and the flaps and doodads. So, whoops. I'll flip this over. And then we went with the oranges and browns. This kind of brownish color is another old authentique. It might be from my colors. I think it is my colors. I have another grateful card and just a plain photo mat in this little tuck spot. Then behind it, another grateful card and a photo mat. And this is one of those little Tim Holtz things that says, hold on tight to your dreams. And I added a little heart, and this is just a scrap of the design paper. This is just smaller pieces of the design paper is all that is, in circles with a couple leaves and 2 little banner shapes crisscrossed behind it. And then this is the last page. Another one of the cut-aparts, and I put it on that yellow. Another grateful card. And this one opens up. This is the authentique paper I was talking about. And I did not back this one. Those go in there. And on the back side, we go back to the blues again. And I have another tuck spot here. 3 more recipe cards. Again with another tuck spot. A collage using one of the cut-aparts. And one of the grateful cards. Gratitude cards, whatever. And then on the inside back cover, I wanted to keep the lady intact. So I just cut around it and made my page that way. So this, on this section you have 5. So that gives you an opportunity for 10, 11, 12. 12 photos on this side. And again, you can tuck something under here if you want. So that's it. That's my little album. Oh, I forgot to tell you. It's very important, but I forgot. Each page has a pocket insert. I'll just pull one out. They're all plain right now. I haven't added any photos or any design paper. That's kind of an afterthought once I get the photos cut, and then collage around them, cut pieces that kind of fit the whole page together. So there you go. That's my Bountiful Blessings. It is such a beautiful paper. If you guys don't have it, let me tell you, you want to make sure you get it. It is just gorgeous. Alright guys, have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye-bye. Alrighty, the first thing you're going to need for this folio is 4 pieces. We're going to have 4 pages. So you're going to need 4 pieces. And these are, I didn't write it on there. Let me measure it for you. It is 12, I'm sure. Yep, 12. I think it's 8. 12 by 8. And what I have done is score it 1/2. Lay these out. Then fold this in. Bring this right inside your fold. I want it tucked inside. Now you can wrap it this way if you want. But then you're going to have this raw edge. And I like it tucked in. That way you have nothing to catch on the inside when you slide something through. But see how this one is going to pucker here a little bit? So I'm just going to trim just a smidge off of it. Let me get a cutter here. And I'm just going to take a little smidge off of it to get rid of that pucker. Just that skinny little piece. That's all I took off. See if that helps. It should, and I'll probably have to do that to all of them because, yeah, now see, it doesn't pucker anymore. It lays nice and flat. And this will be covered with design paper anyway, so let me just go ahead and take a smidge off the other 3 while I'm here, and then I can get rid of the cutter. Because I measured them all the same, and I want them to be alike when they're in the book. Here's a smidge off of that one. I know it's still warm weather and I'm wearing a sweatshirt, but we've had rain all night long and it's really chilly here today, so, and I get cold easy. I'm a cold-natured person, so that's why I'm wearing such a heavy jacket, because I'm cold. Cold-blooded. A little bit farther in. And you can always take off more if you need to. I just go a tiny bit at a time. Because if you take too much, you can't put it back on, right? So there's one of them, and I'll glue those down in a minute. So let's burnish this under. And then if you put it in your scoreboard and bring this one right up underneath, and keep it nice and straight, then you don't have to measure. It gives you a perfect fold every time. These scoreboards are worth their weight in gold because they save me lots of steps. Anytime I want to match up 2 straight edges, I always put it up in this left-hand corner. You can't go wrong with that. So back in my corner, bring it right up under and push it up to the top. And I just press it with my fingers and then get my bone folder. There's 3. And this is the 4th one. And I'll show you the album cover. This is the Bountiful Blessing folio. It's got a lot of blues and earth tones. It's a really pretty paper collection. And I have built my cover. And if you haven't built a cover before, then I'll put a link in the description box to my tutorial on how I wrap them, but it saves a lot of time if I don't do it every tutorial. I chose the Artisan Navy Blue, and this is my cover. I love this blue. It is so pretty. But if you notice, let me get some of these papers out. Look how pretty it looks with that. And this one just looks so pretty together. I love these papers. And it looks good with that one. There's a lot of blues in this one. And then I had another one here. Oh, here it is. Look at it with this burgundy. Gorgeous. I don't know if the light's causing too much glare. Isn't that pretty together? So, that's why I chose the navy blue. I could have went with brown. I could have went with Kraft, but I just thought the navy blue was just so rich looking. But I'm going to use the Kraft on the inside so that I have a lot of variance in color. Now, with these pages, we've got 4, and I'll glue them in a minute, but I wanted to show you the hinge I'm going to use. And I am going to use Stack the Deck this time, because with the hidden hinge, with each one of these being doubled, they get really stiff. And sometimes it takes a good while before your hinges loosen up. They just, I don't know, there's something about it that it just doesn't sit right with me. So what I did was, I cut a piece that is 3 1/4 by 5 5/8, and then 1 3/4 by 5 5/8. Yeah, I scored this one at 1/2 inch, rotated it, and scored it a 1/2. That leaves you a 3/4 inch gusset, so that you can put more photos, flips, flaps, embellishments, whatever. Then on this piece, I scored it at a 1/2 on both sides, and then 3/4 on each side. So if you go a 1/2 and 3/4, rotate it, and go a 1/2 and 3/4, that leaves 3/4 in the middle. So when you put them together, just line up this 3/4 in the center of each one, and glue them together. So let me do that real quick. And I will show you. So I'm going to burnish these 2. Just to help me have a straight line. Ooh, I don't think that turned out very straight, did it? Well, it looks like it, but I don't know if that's straight. Let me see. It don't look the same to me at the top and the bottom. I might have to cut another piece. Is it going to match? It does. I didn't think it looked straight, but it does. Let me measure it. I want to make sure. That is 3/4. And that is 3/4. Well, it's straight. I was looking at it and I thought, well, that don't look right. But it's right. So I think I want to ink it first. Well, you know what? It's not going to really show because everything's going to be hidden, so I don't need to worry about inking it. I'm in the habit of inking everything. So I am going to put my glue right here. Oh, that tip keeps wanting to come off. I don't know why it's doing that. See, it keeps coming off. I've worked and worked with that and it won't stay on. So I'm just going to put a little glue and I'll smear it with my finger because I don't want to get too much on here. I don't know why it's doing that. I have more trouble with the glue bottles, I'll tell you what. So that's on there. I don't know why this thing won't stay on this bottle. I've shoved on it and shoved on it. Now, if you match these up, and I'm just going to bend this just a hair. To give me a straight line on that side, and it's going to sit right there and right there. Straight up to the top. It's lined up there, and it's lined up here. So I'm going to burnish it down. Fold this one in again. Fold this one in again. And then I can do these two. Flatten these out while I do this one. I love the hidden hinge, I just don't love the stiffness of it. That's the only thing. Sometimes it is just so stiff, and your pages want to stand up instead of lay flat, and I like a lay flat page. So there's those two, and there's two in the center. So now you've got 4 hinges with 3/4 inch gap. And you can see how easily these bend. So that's going to sit in here. And the pages, once they're glued, will sit on there, just like that. So I'm going to glue these together. I think I'll put a piece of design paper behind this. I'm not sure which one yet, but I will do that, and I will be right back. I want to make this as short a video, because, you know, you can glue them off screen once you've seen me do this. You do want to take your scissors and snip just a tiny bit off of these edges before you glue them. It just takes away any chance that you might have a little overhang. Just like that, and then glue them down. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, we have our 4 pages glued together. I'm going to lay 3 of them aside, and I have inked one of them with the Archival Coffee from Ranger, and I did get this from Country Craft Creations. And then each page will be the same. The basic layout will be the same, but they'll be embellished and decorated different. So on each page we have a flap for the top, and I thought I had it written down on one of them. I've inked all of them. Yes, there's one. Okay. 4 3/8 by 8. And I didn't ink it on the bottom, on the back side, so let me do that real quick, because we're going to embellish both sides, of course, or decorate at least. Okay, now I'm going to take just a little snip off of these edges so we don't have any bulk or overhang. You don't have to take much off, just a little. Just a little snip. And then we're going to put this at the top of each page. Now I have the glued section here is on the back side. So I'm going to put that up in here. And I'm going to put glue on here. My glue will cooperate. Here it comes. And we'll put one together on camera, and then I'll do the other 3 off camera. It just makes the video shorter. Makes upload and editing a lot quicker too. So I'm going to line this up at the corners, right up at the very top. Press it down and burnish it. And that's not a perfect alignment either. I said it would be, and it's not. That would be Bobbie's fault. Now it is. Didn't put it up there hard enough. So there is the flap. And then we're going to have a pocket at the bottom of each page. And here's one that I've just inked. Haven't inked the bottom yet. You'll fold them in, ink all of your edges all the way around. Then just take a snip off of each one of these top edges and then cut right across where these two lines meet. And if you ink it first, you can see real clearly where you want to cut. And you'll have some 4-inch scraps, pieces from when you cut off other parts. You'll have some 4-inch strips. So if you will take one of your 4-inch pieces and cut it at 9, then you've got 9 by 4. Score a 1/2 inch all the way around, all 4 sides. Then take your cutter and cut it at 2 inches, like this. You've got 2 of your pockets. And do this with 2 of your 4-inch scraps. Cut 2 of them at 9, and then score all 4 sides at a 1/2 inch, and then cut it down the middle at 2. There you go. You've got 2 pockets there, and I already had 2 from the first one I cut. So I wanted to show you that because it's a way to use up your scraps, the pieces that you've already cut. Oh, what am I getting the ink out for? I want the glue. So we're going to glue all 3 of these tabs, and we're going to put this down at the bottom. Huey, don't start, please. He heard a noise outside. Probably my daughter coming home from work, I guess. I don't know. Huey, that's enough. Calm down. Oh, Lord. It never fails when I try to do a video. One or both of them get going every time. So match it up at your bottom corners and along the sides. Yep, that looks good. Burnish it real good. And then we will use, where's one of those recipe cards? Right here, I think. We'll have inserts that hold the flap down, so you won't need a magnet or a ribbon. So that all 4 pockets will be the same on the front. Then on the back side, we're going to have excuse me, let me find my little prototype here. Hold on 1 minute, I'll be right back. Okay, I had to cut these down a little bit more. These are 8 5/8 by 6, and I've cut 4 of them, and we're going to do 2 of them on camera, and I'll do the other 2 off. Here's the second one I'm going to do. You want your 8 5/8 to be this orientation so that your design is up straight. The 8 5/8 needs to be, your orientation needs to be correct. So, see what I mean? If you cut it this way, it would be going the wrong direction. So make sure your orientation is the long direction. So we're going to score 1 long edge at a 1/2. one short edge at a half. And then go ahead and score the other one while I've got it in here. I'm not pushing real hard because I don't want to tear my paper. And this is not Artisan cardstock. You can be a little rougher with it. Okay, let me put this mat back in. So we're going to cut out this corner right here. And I'll cut this one out, just like we did on the others, on those pockets. Now I'm going to fold this 1/2 inch on the short edge under. And I want to burnish it. And I'm going to take this end and bring it over underneath that. Yeah, it'll be alright underneath. Make sure it's straight. Okay. Put it up against that edge. And just finger press it and then burnish it. Let's do the same thing to the other one. Fold this first 1/2 inch under. And bring this edge over. Line up your top. Yep, that's good. Just finger press it into place and then burnish it. Now when we open it up, where this fold is, I want to take just a little notch out, just to the left and to the right of that center scar mark, so you got a little V coming out of it. And do the same thing to this one. Just right up to your 1/2 inch score line. Now I'm going to notch these. You don't have to, that's optional. I'm just going to eyeball it and go in here just, I don't want it real deep, but I think that looks pretty good. And then I'll notch this one. Then we're going to fold this one up. And this one down. Now I may have them reversed. I might have to do them over. Let me just fold them both the same way the first time. Doesn't make any difference because they'll go either way. And this one as well. Fold this one under too. Now when you close it up, you're going to have one on the inside and one on the outside. This one will be what attaches to your page. And what I'm going to do is bend it back, and it will attach on the back side of this page, and it will hold recipe cards. And these come with your collection. well, it will hold it because I already tried it. Yeah, there you go. So we'll have one of these on the back side of each page, but I'm not going to glue them down yet because I want to put my design paper down and make sure that everything's going to coordinate. So that is how that is done. And I got a little nubbin of paper right here I'm going to trim off of this one. Oh, and I meant to tell you this particular layout is something Tamara did several years ago. I think it was called A Child's Hour or something like that. It was a Graphic 45 album that she did, and I just love this page layout. And I sent her a message and said, do you care if I use that on this item? She said, no, go ahead. So that's what I'm doing. So here's this one. Bend it back. Now you can take a little snip off of this. And once we glue it down, this is going to be glued to hold it shut. You can actually put it inside if you want to, like that, which I think I will so I don't have that flap showing. Then it will attach like this. That's why I told you be sure your orientation is correct, otherwise this would be going that way and that wouldn't look right. So here's this one. That's two of them. They're so easy to make. But what I want to do when I put it together, I want to put, and I'll show you when I come back. I'm going to put a piece of Scotch tape in here and in here. So, but I will glue it. But when I lay it down, the tape will cover that raw edge so things don't get caught on it. And I'll show you what I mean before I put one together. But I'm going to get the other two ready so we can move forward. And I do need to ink these two. And again, I'll use the coffee. Alright, I'll be back shortly. I also wanted to mention to you real quick, when you're scoring these pockets, make sure when you score the short end that your top of your page is on the right hand side when you score this 1/2 inch, because if you have it this way, your page will be going the wrong direction. It'll be upside down. Especially like this one, it would be going that way. And it's just, maybe it's just personal preference, but I like it going, because it's going to fold this way, and if you have your score end on here, then it's going to be like that. You get what I'm saying? And here's this one. If you score this one and roll it under like that, then it's going to be, well, anyway, it'll be upside down. So don't do that. Make sure the top of your page is on the right when you score the 1/2 inch. And then score this one 1/2 inch. Ta-da. Okay. Alrighty, that's it. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm going to put one of these together. Actually, I haven't punched this one yet. Let me do my little circle punch. And then I want to show you. I have put a piece of Scotch tape, and I decided I don't need it over here. It's really not going to get caught. Where it normally gets caught is when you put something down in here. It hits that edge, and I want to avoid that. So what I'm going to do is close this up. Now the tape is the sticky is facing up. I'm going to fold this in, and I'm going to add my glue to both of these flaps, and this has got a little overlap here, so I'm going to cut a little bit more of this off. There, so they don't overlap. Then I'm going to add my glue to these two flaps. Into this one. Oops. And then I'm going to fold this up, lining up the bottom and the side. And burnish that down. Now, when I put the recipe card in, it should slide right over that tape. I always have trouble with this. It slides all the way to the bottom without getting caught. Cool. I hoped it'd work out like that, and it did. So, see, if you had put your half-inch score on this end, then it would have been upside down like that when you put it in the book. That's what I was trying to tell you a while ago. So there is the first one, sealed up. And I'll do it with you one more time. And then I'll put the other two together on my own. Just make sure that these don't overlap, which mine do. You don't want that extra bulk in there. It's hard on these prints to tell where to cut. There, that's better. Okay, so I need a piece the length of this, and I'm going to cut it just like that. And I'll fold this down and put my tape on the inside of that so the sticky is facing out. And I got too much. But that can be fixed just by snipping this off. There we go. Now for the glue. We want glue on here and on here. Oak. And let's close it up. Let me fold this up so I can make sure my bottom is lining up. Right there. And lining up with my edge. This one's just a little bit short. There we go. Now let's try our card again. Okay, all the way to the bottom. Doesn't get caught at all. Cool. Now I have to ink those. Oops, I didn't punch that one. That's okay. I'll punch it now. And I just kind of eyeball them. So there's two. I'll glue the other two together and get them all inked, and I'll be back again and we'll get some more done. Alright, see you shortly. Okay everybody, what I have done so far is not a whole lot. Well, I have done a whole lot, but not as far as assembling anything. All I've done to assemble so far is attach the craft to the front and back covers, and then I put the design paper on the spine. And then we had made the hinge together, and I put little strips of this same paper down the center from top to bottom, just out of scraps. This is on the back of the sheet that has the Thanksgiving word and the turkey on it. And this is on the back side, and I'm just going to cut this off even with the bottom. If I can get my scissor in there, I am. There we go. And the third one. So that when you sit it down and your pages are on there, all you'll see is this continuous design. So that can go into place. And what I'm going to do on the covers, here's the first cover, and I'll glue them down off camera so it doesn't take so long. Well, actually, we'll go ahead and put the first one down together so that you can see, in case you haven't done this before. This is your first piece, and it is 8 3/4, I think. No, I think it's 9. It's 9. Sorry about that. 9 by 6 1/4. And it is scored at 4 1/4 and 4 3/4. Now, when you fold and burnish, match your sides up really good, because it's going to be obvious if they're not lined up. And this one looks like it's been laying there and gotten kind of cattywampus. That looks better. So the glue is only going to go on this 1/2 score line. And I'm going to put it just about 1/4 inch from the edge, because we're going to have this band in here. Just basically for decoration, but you will be able to tuck something under it if you want to. It's just going to be attached to the top and the bottom. So let's put some glue on this. Okay, and just about 1/4 inch from that edge into the top of your craft cardstock. I want to get it where the craft doesn't show. There. Try not to put my head in the camera. Okay. Then what we will do from there, here's my burnishing tool. Is take this second piece, and it's done the same way. The measurements on it are 10, should be 6 1/4, yeah, 10 by 6 1/4, and it is scored at 4 3/4 and 5 1/4. So once you have this folded, we'll put glue on that same 1/2 inch. And it's going to go right up under this one, just like that. And we're going to burnish that down. Now there will be a picture frame, or a picture mat, I should say. Looks like my glue oozed out there. I'm glad I caught that, because I don't want that to glue down to this. I got a little carried away with my glue. So in order to hide this with a magnet, did I get that too close? No, it's going to be fine. Okay. So we will be able to put a magnet under here and back here. Or if you don't want your magnet on your page that your photo mat goes to, you can always put an embellishment, and we'll address both of those here in just a few minutes. But I wanted to show you that, and then this is going to attach here, and this is also scraps from this page, and I'm going to glue this on the front of there. Then this I will score at 1/2 inch. Let me see, I need to go over here to score it, because I got that. Got my scoreboard covered up, so let me score it real quick. Okay. Make sure it's going to go top to bottom. it's a little bit short, so I'm going to change my score line here. I thought maybe it might be. So I'm going to move this down a mark. And rescore that bottom one. Give myself a little extra room. I'm running out of room here, kids. Now the dogs are going to start. It never fails, does it? And I gave myself a little too much space. There's no happy medium here. I'm going to pinch it between those two. Goodness gracious, why is she barking so much? That's my granddaughter's dog in the back doing all that raising Cane. I don't know what's the matter with her today. There, that's fine. And we'll place this one about a 1/4 inch from that side. But I want to trim these up a little bit so those little points don't show. I don't like anything sticking out. And then I'll need to trim this up to match. It's going to need to be cut. Let me get a pencil. Short of that. Very good. Ink the bottom of this where I cut it. I'd already inked the rest of it. I knew it was too long, but I wasn't sure where I wanted to cut it. Oops. I don't know why that's still out there. Okay, so we can glue this to here. This one to here. That'll give us a little tuck spot. And this is going to go here. I think I'm going to go ahead and add magnet underneath and one to the back side of this. I just don't want to put another embellishment on top of this because I think it's too pretty. And then I will glue this in place. And then on this side, it's going to be kind of it's going to be almost the same, but instead of these are landscape. This side's going to be portrait. So I have the same theory, or same process, and these measurements are 8 3/4 by 6 1/8, and it is scored. Let me do it this way. Scored at 4 1/8 and 4 5/8. And then this second piece is 9 3/4, I think, by 6 1/8, and it is scored at 4 5/8, sorry, and 5 1/8. So they will stack the same way as this one did. The only difference is they're going to start from the side and go this way. And then I cut out the lady from that piece of paper. And I put a little piece of navy blue behind her where she hangs over. And she's just going to stretch across all of those pages. Like that. And then I have another band for right here. So I will glue all those in place. And then I'll come back and we'll work on our pages. I have all my pieces cut out for that, and we'll work on that next. Okay, I'll be back in just a little bit. Okay, I have glued down the pieces on the inside of the covers that I showed you, and we have this waterfall here. Haven't put anything on the underside of the pages yet, but then we'll have this large area back here that we can embellish. Then I did add the hinge like I showed you. And on this side is the lady, and I had cut off my navy blue at this corner, so I had to go back in and add a piece under here at the very bottom, but you won't see it once we put design paper on it. I'll cover that up. And I did have to go back and add, well, I didn't have to, but I felt like there was too much space here compared to this, when you see how there's just a small area of the tan showing, and here it was quite larger, so I cut one more piece, and I did add that to your cut list, and it's going to leave a navy blue hinge there, but we can cover that up with design paper, and then there's your magnet for that. So there we go with that. Now on the pages, I have put my paper on 3 of them. Excuse me. I wanted to leave one so that I could give you the measurements of the design paper in case you want those. You may want to do it differently, which is fine. So I took a design paper and then a somewhat of a solid, and I repeated what is here on the inside, and then what's up here is up here, so it kind of coordinates together. And then you can add the cut aparts inside if you want. The big ones are a little bit long, but you can turn them sideways. You can make photo mats. I just wanted to do it without magnets. And you can also use the smaller ones. You can make photo mats. I made these little cards for people to fill out, and I'll try to get these where you can copy them. I'm not sure if I can make a PDF correctly, but I'll try. And I just got these little graphics off of a free site called My Cute Graphics, and I don't remember where I got the scroll. I'll try to find it and give you a link to that. But you can put these in here for people to fill out. People that come to dinner with you, they can fill out what they're thankful for, and maybe they'll have a recipe, which we've got these folders we need to add that have the recipe cards in them. So I thought that would just really bring it all together. So there's the orange one. This one I used the cream and the blue. Like that. I love those colors. They're so pretty. And then this one I used the burgundy and the blue. And this one is going to be the green and gold. So on these pieces, this yellow is something that I had in my stash because there weren't any solids with this, and I just felt like it. And this is a little bit of a model-y print, but it's not really bold, but it goes good with the flowers. I don't know what's up with my throat this morning. I feel like I'm drowning. Anyway, this is cut 3 3/4 deep, and it is 3 3 3/4 by 6, and it's going to go in the center here, and then you'll have a 7/8 of an inch, and I rounded the corners, 7/8 by 3 3/4, and those will go here. Isn't that pretty together? And then this one is 1 3/8 by 6, same as this. And then you have 1 3/8 by 7/8 down here at the bottom. They look pretty together. I just love these papers. So let me take these off so I can give you the measurements of the inside. I wanted to do that before I glued them down, because invariably if I don't, somebody's going to send me a message and ask me what I cut them at. This will fit right in your pocket, and it is, well, if I can get over that little, there it goes, that little fold, and you'll tuck it just under that score line. And I don't glue it all the way down to the bottom, because when you try to shove it in, it starts catching. So I just glue it down just below this seam line, because it's not going to come out. Just below this edge, and I just glue around here and then through the center. And that way it slides in your pocket if you don't have glue across the bottom. That, and then This is my top piece. You can either use the green, well, it's green on both sides, so you will use the green. So that'll sit right in there. Isn't that pretty together? And then you can cut out more embellishments, do whatever you want with it. But I just think these papers are so gorgeous, you can't go wrong with them. And I'll glue that down off camera. I just wanted to give you the measurements. And I want to show you what I have laid out for the front cover. I have cut a piece of the craft, which will lay here, but I'm going to lay it down flat so I can show you. I have the craft, and then I cut a piece of the burgundy at the top. And then I have the turkey platters and all that at the bottom. And I made a little small flag to go up here in the left-hand corner. And I'll embellish it somehow, add something to it, probably some little flowers and leaves maybe. But that will sit up here. I just felt like I needed to bring the blue up to the top a little bit. And then the cut apart that has the turkeys, the two turkeys in the, I guess it's a Jeep, I'm not sure. I'm going to put that over here. And then off of the border strip, this one that's on your, it's at the bottom of your cut aparts. I cut out the words Bountiful Blessing in a piece of the navy blue cardstock to put along the bottom here. And then I'll have other embellishments to fill and finish it out. But I thought that was really pretty. I just love these two together. So that's my game plan. I will be back shortly. And I will show you, I'll be ready to put the pages in. But before I put the pages in, I want to decide which order I want them in and what I want to put on the back so I can coordinate these with whatever I put on the back of these. Alright, I'll be back shortly. Okay guys, here is the order I've decided to put mine in the book. This will be page 1, and the reason I chose that is because the papers have the same color, so they'll relate to the cover. I like the two pages to kind of relate to each other. I don't like them, like I wouldn't dare put something like this right next to that. I think it's too much, but that's just me. But yours is your album. You can do it however you want. So this will be page 1. Now I attach this to the back, and it's just right here at the, oops, almost glued it shut. This is where it will slip onto your album. Or to your, sorry. This is where it will slip on to your hinge. And then this will be your insert. And we have 4 inserts that are 5.5 by 8.5. And they will go in these pockets. Like so. Everything's falling out now, wouldn't you know? Anyway, that will be that. And I have chosen this one to go underneath, and then I'll embellish each page and decorate it. So this will be page 2, and you can see that the two relate. Then I've attached the blue one here because of this page, and I'm going to put this underneath as my base. And then I can bring some red over here with my embellishments and kind of bring it more and more together. So this will be number 3. And on the back side of it is the pumpkins. And I've chosen this, I think it's called, yes, it's called Allspice, and it's from the Colors collection. My colors. And then that will relate to this one. And then on the back side of that, I have chosen this so that it will also relate to this side. So that's how I like to do things. So that is my game plan, and I'll get these glued down and I'll start making some embellishments, and I'll come back and share a couple of them with you anyway. But I do most of my decorating off camera because it takes me a while. I go searching through everything I've got, my stash and previous collections, and you know, until I find enough stuff to make each page just a little bit different. So that is what I have, and I will be back shortly and we'll finish up the tutorial portion, and then you'll see the walkthrough of the finished project before you actually see the tutorial, so that you have an opportunity to decide if this is something you want to make. Alright, I'll see you back soon. Okay guys, I want to catch you up and then I'll finish decorating the pages off screen, but I just wanted to show you what my plan is. I put the design paper on the front like I showed you before. I used an old Martha Stewart punch to punch out some trim. It is called Footlights. It's a real old one. I've had it forever. And then this little strip came off of the design page. Where is it? Let me see if I can show you. It's this little piece of trim. There was 2 of them on this front sheet, this header sheet, and I just cut one of them off, and then I cut it so I could save on what I use to use somewhere else because this is going to cover it up. This frame here will be here, so that would have been wasted, so I just cut it out so I could have it for other pieces. And then I used a die in my stash, and it actually cuts out the center, which I want it to be solid, but I'm going to be able to cover that up. But before I go any farther, I want to punch these little holes out. It all didn't come out by itself. Let me get my brush, maybe that'll make it go quicker. Run the little brush over it, maybe that'll take most of them out quicker. Yeah, that's going to help. Take all those little bits and pieces out. It's easier than picking them out one by one. Almost done, just a little bit more left. And right here. There's one little ornery one in there. And I have to poke him out by hand. One right there. And one right there. Okay, I think I got them all. So if I put, I'm going to lay this down. It keeps wanting to pop open on me. I want to be able to glue it down without mashing my hinge. So if I put this down, put this in the center, and then put this little scrap of gold over the top of it, that will hide my seam, I think. And then I can put this down here. And that will work. Let me get the rest of my pieces out from underneath here. I just buried them. This. I think that's all. Okay. So let me see exactly for placement how I want this. I want it to be out about like that. Okay, so I want it to be past that second dot there. So let me get a little glue on it. Maybe. There we go. Just a little bit. Maybe that'll work right there. And let me put this back in the center, so I don't want that red showing up. Put this in there. This is just a piece of glitter cardstock that I already had cut out, and I happened to see it in my stash, and I thought, ooh, that might be the ticket. And I think it's going to work. Now for the nail, whoops, got some glue there. Let me wipe that off. And my leaky bottle. This bottle never stops dripping. Never had one do that before, but this one does it every time I take the pin out. Alright. So this is going to sit here, and I put some fun foam on the back of it. I'm going to switch to this bottle so I don't have all that leaking. Oh, now my fine point comes out. I'm telling you, I can't win, can I? My pen wants to stick. Alright, so let's get some glue out here. And I'm just going to glue it to the fun foam. This stuff makes an excellent foundation if you want to elevate something without a whole lot of... Now I'm going to put it just like that. Make sure it's straight. Make sure I've got it straight. It is. Good. We're going to call that good. And then on this one, I just put 2 strips. I cut out 6 and I glued 2 of them together, and then I staggered them here so that I can have a little, oh, I don't want that one, a little bit elevation, but not a lot. Darn it, come on, pen. There. Got it all over me now. Forgot and took the pen out of the wrong one. So we're just going to glue down these 3 strips. And that'll give us a little bit of elevation, but not a whole lot. And we're going to center that in the middle of the blue. Oops. Like that. Okay. Now I have the little flag, and I put a double thickness just of white cardstock behind it. Keep wanting to pick up the wrong one. And I'm going to put this up here. And then the blue, I put 3 little strips behind it, and they're also doubled up. And we'll put that center of the cream color, just like that. Now this Bountiful Blessings, I cut this out of the cover sheet, and I put 1 strip of fun foam the full length, and then I cut out a shorter piece so that where this sits here, I can butt it right up to it, and it'll still sit right. Darn it, I keep picking that up. So we're gonna, oop, now this is wiggling again. I'm batting a big fat 0 here today. I'm going to put glue on this piece and just on the end of this one. Because I don't want it to be, I want it to be up here on the cream a little bit. Like that. Now this I am going to put here, but I want to put some flowers on there first. And I'm going to need to elevate this here. So until I get the flowers. But that's basically the front of that. I'm going to lay this aside. And you'll see this in the walkthrough. And I did put this down before I put my base pages in the Kraft color cardstock. And then I've added Kraft to the spine in the back. But I haven't got any paper out for them yet. So I'm going to put this out of my way for now. And I wanted to share with you what I've done with the pages. I haven't cut any photo mats out for these front portions yet, which I will do. But then on the back side, where the pocket is for the recipe cards, I just cut out a doily and I added one of the cut-aparts to it. And then I made a little pocket with it and put a photo mat in there. And then on the back side of it, I added a photo mat and punched out some little flowers and leaves. And then I just made a collage here. And I have one of the grateful cards and 2 more photo mats in there. So I wanted to show, just give you an idea. So this is page 1, the back side, and that goes along with page 2. So those will be together. And I do want to get something else yellow to bring over to here. I'll probably get some enamel dots or something just to pull the yellow back over here. There's a little bit of yellow, but not enough yet. So when you turn this over to the back side, then it goes with this. So what I've done so far is cut out a little banner to go here. And then I have another one of the doilies. And I just scored it at 3/4 of an inch and folded up under. And when you put this in here, it helps hide this back portion, but it also makes a little pocket. So what you can do, and you don't want to glue it up here on the sides, otherwise it's going to impede what sits in there. So I'm going to put a little glue down here in the fold. And set this piece in there, about centered, which looks good to me. I think I need a little bit more glue in there. Darn it, this tip just wants to keep wobbling. I didn't get enough glue in there. Let me put a little bit more glue. There. There's not a lot to glue to. Now you just want a little bit of glue. Darn it, come on, tip. This is really making me mad. Just enough to hold it together. Now, I'm going to glue this to the base of that pocket. Right here. And I want it up just a little bit from the edge. Just like that. Now you've got a pocket. this little circle, and I put 3 little, I just punched out 3/4 inch circles from my scraps, and I'll put her in there, right in that little circle. Now you have another tuck spot. Let me find just a little piece to show you. Now this will stick down in there if you have tags or photo mats or whatever. And then I started building another tuck spot to go up under here, and I'm not through with it yet. I'm going to add some more to it, and there'll be photo here and I don't know what here, but that's how I go about decorating the inside of the pages. So I will finish up all my decorating, and I will be back with the walkthrough and let you see the finished project. And then if you decide you want to make this, or you have any questions or didn't understand something, feel free to contact me through YouTube. Just leave a comment on the video down below the description. You'll see where you can leave a comment. Just leave me a message and I'll answer you as quick as I can. Alright, thanks for watching. Have a great day. Bye.